Hi there, today we're gonna be doing a complete tutorial on HTML5 for beginners. If you want to know more about it, don't forget to check out my blog, the link is gonna be in the description below. And at the end of this video, you're gonna learn how to do something like this and something like this. So these are two of the portfolios of the most brilliant computer science professors and authors. And look, they're completely done on HTML. These are links, lists, dividers. This whole thing is a table. So let's learn how to do something like this. We need to understand what HTML is first. And let's start by creating a HTML document. Why is it called index? It's called index because this is the first page that the browser is gonna pull up. Basically, this is its index page. It's gonna identify it, and this is the first file that is gonna pull up. The extension is HTML. Now, what is HTML? It stands for Hypertext Markup Language. Hypertext just means that you can add links, and markup language means that we have these little tags that tell the browser what it should do with the content inside. Let's open this page, let's go live, and we see that we have nothing, absolutely nothing. Why? Because this is the head tag. Everything that goes here, it doesn't show. But let's explain this a bit better. What is this? Doc type HTML. This just identifies the type of document that it is to the browser, so it knows what to do with it. So here we're identifying it as HTML. This stands for language. This is the default language that it's gonna use. In this case, it's gonna use English. And here it's just gonna be title. It's gonna, if you have a style sheet, it's gonna have the style CSS. If you have, let's say, a script, you're gonna put it here, some fonts that you get from Google or whatever, you add it here in the head. It's not gonna show, as you can see. And what does all of this means? Well, first of all, char set. This just means that it will understand the universal compilation of characters. This stands for the 8-bit Unicode transformation format. That is basically the standard. This just means that it's gonna be compatible with all their browsers. Cough, Edge. This is just gonna control the way it's presented on screens. And this is the device width, and this initial scale is just the zoom that the page is gonna be once it's pulled up. So now that we've gone through that, let's go over the basic structure of an HTML element. So here we have the title tag. This, whatever goes inside the content, is what's gonna show up here. Let me just close so we avoid confusion and we can see it better. So if I put here HTML5 introduction, it's gonna change it immediately to whatever you put here, because you're identifying it as the title. If it doesn't have a title, it's just gonna be like the IP address and the file. But let's leave it to HTML5 introduction. Okay, this is the structure of a normal HTML element. Here we have the opening tag and the closing tag. This is what identifies the element to the browser to know what to do with it. Let's see some other examples. Here we have a header tag. This is gonna be hi, I'm a H1. You can see it's really big. It goes down to 6, as you can see. And this is gonna be the smallest size. We're doing this in the body tag. Everything that goes in the body tag is what is gonna be shown in our document or in our page. Whatever goes in the head, it won't show. But this, everything that goes in here will. And we must always end up our HTML document with our closing tag. Now let's show the different types of tags that you can use. You have paragraph It can be whatever. This is just a placeholder. You see, you can have a paragraph. You can also have links that are anchor tags. It's not gonna send you anywhere because this attribute is set to nothing. So now we've reached a new point. And what is this? What is this? So we have what is an attribute name and an attribute value. You can have attribute names and attribute values on every element, and this will just provide extra information. It can help with the styling, it can help with functionality, it can help with a lot of things. And same as the head tag, this won't show on the page. Let's put it on, I don't know. Let's just go to Google. We can also play mix and match a bit and have an anchor tag inside a paragraph element. And let's say I am a paragraph with a link. Once again, this will send us nowhere because we have a dead link, and this is how it's represented. If we want this to open on a new tab, like when the user clicks on it, we want to send them to another tab, let's just add an attribute called target and set it to blank. So now when the user clicks on it, it's gonna open a new tab that is gonna send us to Google, because that's the direction that we set here. Let's close this. But you can also do the opposite. You can have an anchor tag with a p element, and this is gonna turn the whole text into a link. We also have lists. We have order lists that are represented like this and have list elements. And we have unordered lists that are represented like this. Oops. So you can see that the main difference is that an ordered list will be numbered and an unordered list is just a bullet list. So we can add a title here. But this is too big, so let's try an H2. We can also try an H3. Oh, okay. And let's do the same for this one. We need to have it nested inside another element. That is going to be a div. Why? Because divs separate into blocks different type of content. It keeps our code organized, and it also helps us know which section holds what. Most of the time you will have classes that, let's put this as examples. And with this, you can just target it with CSS or with JavaScript to add some functionality or styling, but we don't need that right now, so let's just delete it. We can also have a navigation. Let's add some links. Send me nowhere, and you're gonna be home. This is gonna be about, and it's looking pretty good. And as you can see, this type of blocks help us keep our code organized in a semantic way. Of course, I have a blog about it. I'm gonna link in the description because you don't really want to abuse the use of divs. There are also many tags that we can use instead, and let's use the main tag. This just identifies that this is the main content of the page, and it makes it easier to screen readers when they're going through the document, because they know this is the navigation bar and they know that this is the main content. They also know this is a header, this is a paragraph, and stuff like that. That's why it's so important to correctly identify your elements on an HTML document. Let's continue with another section, and this is going to be about inputs. So let's start by adding a label. This is for our button. Why do we need a label? Because otherwise, if we're working with sets of data, we wouldn't know if the user clicked on it, if we have several buttons. So let's add an input here, button, with the value of our button. So now if a user will click on it, we will know in our data that it came from this. Since we're not going to be working with data, I'm just showing you, but we don't really need to do that. Let's just see the type of inputs that we have. This one's my favorite because you can just pick a color. It's really fun. Would you look at that? That is so fun. We also have checkbox. It's just this. We also have date. You can check any date. We have datetime but local, and this will also show you the current time. We also have one that we're really familiar with, and this is the type of email. Any text you enter here, it will recognize it as email, as in whatever at gmail.com is gonna recognize that as an email. That's the type of input that it's expecting. We also have radio. It's basically the same as checkbox. You can see that difference. Checkbox, you can uncheck them. Radio will just be checked. You can make an input to be required by the user. So let's say we want the color one to be required, and that is all it takes if we were to submit a form with that. And that being said, all of this needs to be hosted in a form element. Form action just means that if you're working with data, you want to specify if the action is to get, to post, to pull. Now that we have a form, we need a submit button. That will just be a button with the type of submit. So now, since we have required the color, if we submit it, it sends. It's just really quick, you can't really see it, but let's do it again. The default color is black, so if we submit it, it doesn't do anything. But if we change it, since that input is required, it's gonna send it. Since we have nowhere to send it to, it will just refresh the page. Because that's the default behavior for forms, it's just gonna refresh the page. And I believe we've seen enough of HTML so far to build our own page. So let's just do that. And I'm gonna also show you a couple of new tags, like the image tag. Let's just delete these two. Okay, so now we need a header. That is going to hold our navigation. That is gonna hold our links, sending us nowhere, but this is gonna be our home page. This is gonna be our about, and this is gonna be contact. Okay, so what else do we have here? So let's use this as a setting point. Like I really want to show you this because this is a table, and remember we're creating something like this, not exactly like this because I want to add a few things, but I really want to show you how to make a table and how to make it look like this. So let's start with our main tag and let's add a table. In tables we have table rows and table data. This is a table data cell, and this is going to hold our image that I have already copied previously, and this is our image tag. We need a source that is going to be where it's going to look for that image. I looked for it at Google and I just copied the link of the image, and an alternative text for screen readers to know that this image is just a Dutch picture. So this is what we're working with, but this is looking nothing like this. So let's remove this because we don't want to be working with that right now. So we have the image and we want to identify it. Let's put another table data and a header that just says Dutch meme. Okay, it's looking more like it. Let's add a cell spacing of 20 to make things a bit more separate here. Remember, this is an attribute and this is the attribute value of the element table. So here we might want to add a paragraph that just says whatever. Let me make this a bit smaller. Okay, and we might want a link. Another link, just whatever. As you can see, it will add it right after this one, and this is what we don't want. And you can see, even if our code is right under it, it's gonna show it here. Why is that? Because by default, let's use pesticide, it will occupy the whole space, even if it doesn't have content to fill it out. So here it's just no more about me, because it's just a link. That's all it's gonna occupy. This is an inline block element. Same thing with this one, same thing with all the links. And we can see that header tags and text tags are block elements. That means it's gonna occupy the whole space. Let's remove pesticide. You can see it will occupy the whole space. As seen, it will start in a new line. The A tags, like I said, are in line, so that doesn't work that way. How do we fix it? A quick fix will be to just add a break, and we will add it right under. This is just to identify a line break, so it goes under. That's a very quick fix. So now we might want some info here. So let's add that under our table, because remember, this is our table element. So let's add a div, and here we're gonna want to add the paragraph tag that we copied from Google. That is just some basic information. So let's add a header here that says, who am I? And that's just there. But as you can see, we have this line that is just an HR. There we have it. Okay, so now let's add a list down here. Let's make an unordered list with list elements from unique. Versatile. Oops. Versatile. And universal. Let's just say. Let's add a title. Hi friend, editing Yuri here. I don't know how I missed it, but for you to semantically add a title to a list, you must do it outside of the list. The way I'm doing it right now, even though if in the whole video it doesn't look like that, you should do it now. I'm warning you, okay? So bye, continue. Let's separate this a bit. So like I said, we don't really want to abuse the div tag. So let's think about what this is. This is just an introduction. So let's rename this section. And if we were to style it, we will be like class intro text, because this is just our introduction. To be honest, I'm not really liking the bullet point design. This is really recommended against, but you can also use inline styling for HTML elements. So that's what I'm gonna do. For the list style to be none. And you can see that removes it. But you really want to keep all your styling on your CSS file. Now let's create a contact form for our meme. So let's create another section. And here we're gonna have inputs and a header text. Here we want the input to be a text input. You can look for it here, or you can just write it. Name, and you can add a placeholder. That is that gray text that is gonna show up there. And let's put enter your name. Okay, pretty cool. So let's add another one. We want to be able to reach you if you contact him, so let's put email. 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 And we want to make this one required. And we want to know why are you contacting us, so let's make another. Let's put reason. And here we want a text area. Reason, as into why you're contacting us. Why are you reaching out? So this is our text area. As you can see, this doesn't look like very much like an input form. Let's finish it though and add a submit button. What are we missing here? We haven't nested our input elements or our button in a form element. Let's delete this to avoid confusion. But as you can see, it's looking quite ugly. So what did we do to fix it before? We add a break line. Oh, Okay, that's looking way better. Break line. This is a quick fix. We want to break the line here too. And there we have it. A contact form. What else do we want? If we want, have you seen those pages where you click here and it sends you somewhere on the page? How do you do that? We do that using IDs. Contrary to attributes, IDs need to be unique to identify only one element in your document. How do we do that? Let's put here contact. Remember, this is where our link is supposed to go, but if you want to reference something on the same document, you can use it like this. If we were to have, let's say, a contact HTML that is just hi, we will put it here, href contact HTML, and when we click here, it will send us to hi. But since we first want to reference something on our same page, we need to set our ID here to be contact, the same name you use here. So now, if we click it, we go down here. It's not really down because we don't have much content, so let's add some content here so we can really see it. Another p tag, and let's repeat this a lot. Here. Okay, so now if we hit contact, it's gonna send us right here. And let's undo all this. Perfect. So how about if I want to just go to another page? Like I've already shown you, you can just, instead of doing this, you reference the same folder you're in and which file you want to be sent to. So let's just copy our form, delete it, use an HTML template. For that you just hit shift, exclamation point, and you hit tab. Here we have our template. We copy it in the body and we change the title to be contact me. So now when they hit contact, they're gonna be sent to this. That's really fun, huh? If you want to do the same with about, it will be just the same. Fun facts, just the same. Let's add a division line between qualities as well. HR is just stands for horizontal line. What it literally does is just add a horizontal line. You can style it using CSS. So this is what our page is looking like. If you want to add, let's see, another important tag, that is footer, and this is just the footer of the page. You can put your name, as in made by, and remember to always use tags to identify your tags. And since I want this one to be really small, I'm gonna use an H4. Oops. And made by. And remember, you can nest tags, and I want an A tag. Let's say that redirects to my Twitter, and there you have it. If someone were to click on that, and if I had my Twitter link there, it will send them right to my Twitter. There we go. if we want to open on a new tab, remember, target blank. So now if they click on it, it's gonna open a new tag to my Twitter. Just remember to follow me, huh? Follow me. Here's gonna be a cute button. It says probably follow. You hit it and you follow me. Okay, so now you can see how this is possible, and you can add as much content as you want. Remember to check out my article to see other tags, and also I'm gonna link another article about semantic HTML that will explain why you need specific tags for specific reasons. So I really hope you enjoyed this tutorial. If you really enjoyed it, make sure to like and subscribe. There's gonna be more content like this. If not, you can just hang out. It's totally fine. We can chill. If you have any suggestions, please let me know. If there is any type of content you would like to see, also let me know. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.